We have a breaking news update for all AMC stock investors, and this one is one that you need to watch as soon as possible, okay? So we're going to get into this. We do have breaking news on AMC stock as well as this war in Israel, a possible intervention with Iran getting involved in this situation, the U.S. sending another strike carrier group with about 2,000 Marines and expeditionary force close to the border with Israel that could respond rapidly to any developing situation. You can't make this up. We have it all for you here in this video. First things first, you need to hit the like button. Second thing, you need to subscribe. Third thing, you need to comment down below and or share this video with someone else that needs to hear it. So I want to get into this situation, all of the breaking news, but first things first, I want to talk about why this is important. Again, if you guys don't know, this is a chart from Bloomberg posted on, I believe it's the New York Post or whatever. Who cares who shared it, okay? This is the chart of the flow of oil. These are oil tankers on any given day. Roughly, this is what it looks like. Iran and Saudi Arabia right here, well, they basically control the Strait of Hormuz or Hamas. I'm not exactly sure how to say that. Doesn't matter. 20 to 30% of the world's oil supply flows through here. Now, Iran just said yesterday that if the crisis and genocide is not halted immediately, then there could be far-reaching consequences, is essentially what they said. I'm sure we could go ahead and pull it up. But I mean, it doesn't really matter. Far-reaching consequences. I kind of want to find it for you. It was posted on here. Let's see, because they did highlight that specific part that is not exactly the greatest news, and it doesn't look like I can see it here. Yeah, right here. It says, Iran's mission to the UN. If Israel's war crimes and genocide are not halted immediately, the situation could ricochet far-reaching consequences. Unless they have some kind of dirty bomb out there that the world doesn't know about, those far-reaching consequences, those ricocheting consequences, well, that could be energy. Now, for Saudi Arabia, for an Iran, if they restrict the flow of oil, it doesn't hurt them all too much because they don't consume that much oil. Now, oil is traded on a global scale. That would rapidly increase the price of oil. So they would maybe even make more money by doing this. You could be looking at 10, 15, $20 plus gallons of gas at the pump. This does have a very real significant financial implication if Iran were to get involved, and basically the only way they would be able to retaliate is this. Economically speaking, they could obviously try to retaliate militarily speaking, but I mean that usually doesn't end well, okay? So that's why this situation is so tough for the markets. The markets are probably going to be in deep red territory after all of this news that we just got over this weekend. Now, I do want to share this with you. It says, the Iranian foreign minister says, quote, Iran will not remain an observer in this situation and has informed Israel via its allies, if its crimes in Gaza continue, tomorrow will be too late. This is according to Al Zura. This is a Arabic news agency. So we've seen threats like this before. They kind of come and go. We'll see what happens. If they were to get involved, that would obviously be a bad situation. Now, the second piece of bad news for our markets is probably this one. The U.S. just sent a second carrier strike group, fighter jets to the region as Israel prepares to expand Gaza operations. Now, they also sent about 2,000 Marines close to the border, and this is specifically highlighted here. It says, the unit, which is on board the amphibious assault ship USS Baton, is comprised of more than 2,000 Marines and sailors and would be capable of supporting a large-scale evacuation. Among the mission essential tasks for a Marine Expeditionary Unit are evacuation operations and humanitarian assistance. No such order has been given yet to the unit, but they have been ordered essentially to move closer to Israel so they could respond quickly if the situation did deteriorate. And we also got news that more U.S. warplanes are being sent to the region. This says the movement of the warplanes from the 494th Expeditionary Fighter Squadron and 354th Expeditionary Fighter Squadron respectively bolster the U.S. posture and enhance air operations throughout the Middle East, an Air Force statement said. It did not specify numbers of warplanes involved. It says A-10s from the 354th Expeditionary Fighter Squadron arrived in the Middle East on Sunday, U.S. Air Force Central tweeted. This arrival bolsters the U.S. defense posture, enhances air operations throughout the Middle East, and reassures our allies and regional partners we remain postured to protect and defend their freedom, the tweet added. These squadrons are joining other squadrons that are already in the region. So this is not great. And just so you guys know, these aircraft carrier strike groups, they have more firepower capability than most countries' entire militaries. So this is not like a small ship. This is like an aircraft carrier and 6 other ships apiece. There's like 15 or so, destroyers and aircraft carriers with the potential to carry up to 200 jets just sitting there outside of Israel. Hopefully this is enough deterrent. It should be for any logical thinker, but maybe Iran's not logical. We'll have to wait and see. The situation is definitely spiraling out of control. Like I have said many times, the markets can handle bad news. They can't handle uncertainty. This creates a lot more uncertainty, and Iran kind of putting a deadline on it, saying by tomorrow, it could be too late. That's not exactly the most comforting words to the markets. Now, this news came out about 4 hours ago. It says Israeli fighter jets strike Hezbollah military infrastructure in Lebanon, the IDF says. Earlier, the IDF said it was responding to fire coming from Lebanon. Quote, at the same time, a report was received regarding a shooting towards IDF soldiers along the border of Lebanon, it said, adding IDF soldiers in the area were responding with live fire. Just not a good situation. Okay, what's going on here? I hope everything goes back to normal, but what you're probably going to see is a pretty red market on Monday. And more of that fear trade. And we'll talk about that fear trade a little bit more here in this video. Now, this news came out 15 minutes ago. It says Israel says it killed a Hamas commander as it launched dozens of strikes on Gaza. This is now 3 commanders they have killed, it looks like. But that's obviously not enough to completely destroy Hamas, and that is what Israel really needs to do now. Just leaving the politics out of it. I think Israel is sick of having rockets launched at them. It's hard to develop as a society if you constantly have rockets being launched at you. Even if you have the Iron Dome and it stops 90 to 95% of those rockets, still some always do make it through, and that is something I just think they don't want to deal with anymore. So we'll see. A little bit of good news though, it does look like some humanitarian quarters, some evacuation quarters have been set up, and the IDF, the Israel Defense Force, has said that they will allow passage through there for about 12 hours, 14 hours or so, and I believe that is ongoing as of right now. So by tomorrow morning, by tonight, really, by their time, morning time, which will be like midnight tonight, 1 o'clock tonight, it's going to be morning over there, and we'll probably have a much better understanding of when this invasion is actually going to take place from Israel. That's when the situation for the markets as an investor could get a lot worse potentially. So that's the big update that you guys really needed to hear. Probably going to have a pretty red market coming tomorrow. And just depending on how the situation goes, we'll see how bad it gets. The worst possible scenario could be the NASDAQ down 20, 30, 40% based off of this. The Fed cutting rates, doing, probably not even quantitative easing at that point because investors are going out and buying the bonds, causing yields to fall anyways. This could end up being a positive thing for the markets, but it could take some time. And, it could take a lot more red before that ultimately does happen, guys. So there is that. Wanted to get that out the way for you. AMC stock on Friday, you seen, was not that great, down 13.64%. This was first day of the Taylor Swift concert film was actually in theaters. So strange, actually, what happened on Friday to AMC. AMC was down about 1% in after hours as well. Again, that fear move. Investors bought bonds, even though inflation expectations on the 1 and the 5 year went dramatically higher on Friday. Investors did not care. They bought TLT like nobody's business, and yields did fall, especially on the long end of the curve. Now, if you take a look at GLD is a lot more concerning. GLD was up 3.21% in regular trading on Friday, was up 0.26% in after hours trading. Believe it or not, you have not seen a 3% day on GLD. Well, this day, you ended up closing during the peak of the banking crisis on March 8th, only up 2.74%. At one point, you were up 4-ish%, but you did not close there. So this was the highest close on GLD since the bottom of the Rona crash. Back here, on March 23rd, gold was up 4.42%, and on March 24th, gold was up almost 5%. Besides that, I mean, you haven't seen gold up that much in almost 4 years. So when gold reacts like that, it's a sign that a lot of people are very, very fearful. So go ahead and keep that in mind. I think that will be significant to watch in this upcoming week and could really drive the markets, into a state of fear, into a state of panic, or potentially, level out the situation if the invasion does not happen and some of the rhetoric does die down. Maybe more food and water is sent in, or food and water energy is actually restored to Gaza. I think that would soothe the markets over a little bit right now. The breaking news for AMC stock is this: Taylor Swift's Eras Tour is the highest grossing domestic concert film ever. Says Taylor Swift's Eras Tour concert film tallied between $95 million to $97 million during its opening weekend, according to distributor AMC Entertainment. It is the highest opening concert film of all time and the highest grossing domestic release of a concert film ever. Around 4.8 million people were estimated to have attended the film over the weekend, with an average ticket price of $20.75. Now, the average ticket price today, we'll go ahead and look it up. Average ticket price, I believe it's like $17 around there. Yeah, look at that. $10.95 US dollars. Huh? So, people were spending money like crazy at AMC. This is probably going to be really good news coming tomorrow for AMC. We'll see how everything does hash out. Again, it's hard to weigh the benefits to this and the drag on the markets, what kind of effect that would have to AMC. I imagine, although the markets are probably going to be negative, AMC stock could be quite positive based off of this. That's almost double the average ticket price or per patron, visitor to AMC. So that should be some really good news. Excited to bring that to you. Wouldn't surprise me if AMC stock is up a lot and the markets are down a lot. That kind of relationship that we had seen for a long time, where if the markets were down, AMC was up, that might actually come back. We'll just have to wait and see again how everything does hash out. If you take a look at the Ortex data, these numbers are phony baloney, but you do have a short score of 58, $170.45 million currently worth of short positions, 7.84% estimated short interest of free float. Free float out on loan at 11.35%. Shares out on loan 22.44 million. Days to cover 1.3, cost to borrow 1.94, and utilization of 47.05. So that's going to do it for this video. In the next video, we're going to be going over, what I actually expect from AMC this week, what I think AMC could do to the upside, to the downside. Are we going to trade flat? All of that. We are also going to get into the economic data that you need to know for this week in the next video. Hit the like button and subscribe to the channel. Source your comments, questions, or concerns down below in the comments section. You guys have a fantastic rest of your day, and I will see you in the next one.